Hey YouTube, it's Rarity Ho, and today I'm doing my Chaos Dragon deck profile. And I just made this fairly recently, and I've gotten a little bit of playtesting in. This isn't my definitive build for sure right now, but I really like how it's played out so far. It's a lot of fun, and it's a little bit different than just everyone playing regular Lightsworns. So I'm using, some of the new Lightsworn support, and I think it's just a good, fun, different way to use it. So total we have 18 dark monsters, 15 light monsters, and 7 spells with no traps. So and that's a fairly standard way to run Chaos Dragons in quantity. You want a little bit more dark monsters because you are things like Plague Spreader Zombie and Malicious don't really count as being balanced, because Malicious, you're just going to banish himself, and Plague Spreader, once you use his effect to special summon him, he's going to get banished anyway. So he's not really going to count as a monster you can banish in the graveyard. But we're going to start off with 3 Curry Bandit. This card is phenomenal in the deck. It really helps you just set up your graveyard, and potentially, like I said, you have 7 spells, so maybe you can grab one of those. It's better than just milling because you have the opportunity to grab a spell. But he's amazing. 3 Malicious. Malicious is Malicious. He's just phenomenal. He's a level 6, and he gives you great access to Beals, and now because of Raiden, also Leo. So Malicious is just amazing. He can be a little inconsistent, but you fix that with Plague Spreader Zombie. If you have Malicious in your hand, just use Plague to stack it back on top of your deck. And these 2 cards just have amazing synergy together. They're just phenomenal, and Plague helps you to synchro into anything you need. Ideally, mainly just Beals, because Beals is amazing. And you have a lot of level 6s in the deck. I run 2 tour guides. This really helps with the rank 3 exceed plays, and Engineer is just a phenomenal card in this deck because it helps protect your monsters. Like I said, you don't run any traps, so you don't have any breakthrough skills or fiendish chains or nothing like that. But somebody tries to one-on-one your stuff, just use Engineer to switch it to defense position. That's all you got to do. It's phenomenal. And on top of that, it can also make Leviair, which in some cases you can do some crazy stuff with Leviair. And then for hand traps, we run 2 Trag, and I love Trag in this deck. His ability to make him level 6 or by copying a monster in the graveyard is phenomenal. He's got the ability to steal other people's monsters, obviously situational, but just as an extra throw-in because you don't even need it. But one of my favorite things to do is play Curry Bandit, the turn 1, opening turn, play Curry Bandit with Trag in hand. And so if you add a spell or trap to your hand, or not a trap obviously, but if you add a spell, that means when they swing at you, you're gonna drop a 3,000 point Trag, and have 4 cards in your graveyard, 4 monsters in your graveyard that hopefully one of them will be level 6, and you have plenty, so it's very likely. And then my other hand trap is Gores. I like Gores a lot. He's really good, but he's a level 7. That's the only thing I don't like about him. He's he just works as his own thing. He doesn't have synergy with the deck. The only amount of synergy he has is the token he summons is a light token, and I've honested that token a couple of times, and that has helped me out. Other than that, Gores is just Gores. And then moving on to the light monsters, we'll start with the Lightsworn engine. We got 2 of the new bad boy Raiden. He's really cool, and like I said, him and Malicious makes a Leo instantly. You can summon him and use his effect to mill twice, and or mill 2 cards, and then if you mill Malicious, you can go into Leo. Also, with Charge to the Light Brigade, You could use that to mill 3, and then grab a Raiden from your deck, summon them, mill 2 more, and then you have 5 mills, and hopefully you got a Malicious out of that. That's one cool little combo. But he's just awesome. He's a level 4 tuner, so you can do just a lot of stuff with him. I run 2 Lumina, and she's I chose her just because she can special summon. I like the ability to bring Raiden back out and keep doing stuff with him. Lila obviously is a great card. And she can discard. To special summon, she has to discard. So sometimes it just helps fix your clunky hands and get stuff where you want it to be in the graveyard, not in your hand. So that's why I run 2 of her. She's pretty cool. And also, I also need Lightsworn fodder for recharge. I run 3 Lilas because back row is your worst enemy in this deck, and you can use this to just bait out so much and pop different spells and traps, and so they have to worry about Lila or just take it and have their stuff get destroyed, and then you can go off with your big boss monsters and whatever. So that's the Lightsworn engine. That is what, 7 Lightsworns? And then for the rest of my light monsters, 2 Valor, just because it's phenomenal in this deck. It stops monsters' effects, and it's a light monster, so it's filling up your graveyard with light fodder as well. So I think it's amazing. 1 Honest, because Honest is amazing. Like I said, I've used this on all kinds of my light monsters, and even the Gore's token is light, so it's pretty good. And then 1 Eclipse Wyvern, and that's because you only have, in this deck, you only have 2 targets for it. So if you have 2, you have a better chance of milling off one of your targets, and then the other Wyvern will be dead by the time you get to it. So, but 1's really good. It works pretty well. And then this stack here is the boss monsters, and of course we have BLS. He's BLS. And we got 2 Chaos Sorcerers, and Chaos Sorcerer is almost in some ways better than BLS because it has a little bit more synergy because it's a level 6. So when you mill him, he's still really good because you can use Trag's effect to make Trag level 6. So he still serves a purpose other than just his attribute in the graveyard. And then also on the field too, you can summon him, use his effect to banish a monster, and then either go into a Beals with Plague Spreader, or with a Malicious or something, go into M7. And so he's got a lot more plays. BLS is just BLS, kind of like Gore's. It's just his own thing, doing what he does. Except for with Plague, he can make Leo, but I don't know if I'd want to give up a BLS for a Leo. And then we got 3 Light Pulsar Dragon, and this card is phenomenal. He's a level 6. He's got 2 different ways to special summon. He got the regular Chaos method, where you banish a light and dark from your graveyard when he's in your hand. But when he's in the graveyard, you can send a light and a dark monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon him, and that can be phenomenal when you draw into Eclipse Wyvern, or when you have a Malicious in your hand, or a Plague in your hand, or whatever. He helps fix your hands, and he summons himself. So he's really cool, and he's got the little loop with Red MD, and so he's just a good card, and he's got a 2500 attack, which isn't bad either. And then of course you got Red MD. He's just awesome. He's not. I don't go into him I don't go into him very often, but he's just a fun little thing to have around. I'd much rather go into Dad, because Dad is phenomenal. He's, you know, super easy to get out in this deck if you get it done right, and it's not bad if you mill him, because you have the ability to go into M7 very easily. So that's the very heavy monster count, and then we're moving on to my 7 spells. We have Charge of the Light Brigade, which is just stupid. You mill 3, add a Lightsworn to your hand, and level 4 or lower, Lightsworn, whatever. I'm pretty sure they're all 4 anyway. I'm not too positive on the other Lightsworns. But this card's retarded. It sets up so fast. That's why it's at 1 though. And then we got 3 solar recharge, and they are ulti. It's one of the very few things I have actually in nice rarity. I need to work on the rest of it, but I just built the deck. So, but anyway, 3 solar recharge. This card's crazy good. Helps set up your graveyard, and it, you know, extra draw power and all that good stuff that solar recharge does. 1 dark hole, because you play Beals, and Beals and dark holes pretty good. And if you're not playing Beals, you need the Lance. And Lance is just a very good multi-purpose card. 800 doesn't sound like a lot, but in some situations it's just what you need. And also, you know, like I said, protects you from dark hole, protects you from when they torrential or try to use a Fiendish Chain or a what's the breakthrough skill on one of your like dad or something that you really need the effect to go off on. I know a lot of people in these kind of decks don't run Lance, but I tried it without Lance and I did not like it at all. I feel Lance is super necessary. And also, just as a little side note, there's some cards I don't like running, like Allure of Darkness. I don't like banishing one of my darks. I don't feel that that's helps me at all. So that's why I don't run that. But anyway, going on to the extra deck, I run 1 Armades. He's my only level 5. He's still really good. You know, he beats hands. He beats anything like what's that Gurgia card? I always forget the Gurgia's names. Armor, right? Yeah. He gets over armor. He gets over, you know, Lind. Just, you know, a bunch of stuff. Really good. Then we got Powered and Zectron, and this, a lot of people are like, what are you running him for? He sucks. And if you don't know him, he's a light monster, level 6. He's got 2500 attack, and when he's summoned, he can't be, I don't even remember exactly. When he's synchro summoned this turn, he can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, and I take no damage. And so basically that means he can't be bottomless, he can't be torrentialed, or anything like that. So what I do is if I have a level 4 on the field, like, what's her face, Lila? If I have Lila on the field, or another level 4, and I have a, and this is like already on the board, and I know I can normal a Plague, sink for 6. He's not going to get destroyed by anything. I know he's safe. And then now I have a Plague Engrave to special summon and go into Beals. So that is his whole purpose of being in the deck. He's a safe way, and on top of that, he's a light. So he's light fodder for your graveyard. But he's just a safe way to get up to rank 8s, pretty much. Or I guess if I had a Raiden as well, I could use... or not rank 8, level 8s. If I'd Raiden though, I could use it to go into Leo. For level 7s, I got 2. I got Black Rose, and Black Rose is Black Rose. But you know, you never know when you need a Black Rose, and that's all there is to it. And then I got one of the new guy, Michael, the Arc Lightsworn, and he's pretty good. He once per turn you can pay 1,000 to banish a monster, and that's good because you know it. For example, in the mirror match, I can get around Beals and stuff really easily. So he's a lot of fun. He just helps make diversity, and it's really good actually in the Lightsworn deck. I used this deck against the somebody using a Lightsworn deck, and now they have the ability with JD to blow up everything and destroy everything. But with Michael, you now have the ability to banish things. So things that previously could not be killed by JD now can be killed by JD. So start a Spark And I prefer him over Stardust in this build because he is a light, and he's just a cool card. You know, he's really good, and if he does die, and he's a light, so he's fodder for the graveyard. One Crimson Blader, because Crimson Blader is Crimson Blader, and he shuts down a lot of decks. He shuts down the Mirror Match, obviously. He shuts down Mermels. He shuts down Sylvans. He prevents Lightsworns from going into JD, so extra bonus there. Darkened Dragon, because you can go into him. A lot of people I don't think know this card. He's level 8. Dark Dragon monster, and he has to be summoned with a tuner and a non-tuner dark monster. But once per turn, he can lose 500 attack permanently, and you target one of your opponent's monsters, and it's sent to the graveyard. So it's like it's a better black ship, because he can send any monster to the graveyard that can be targeted. So it gets around hands, it gets around Beals, it gets around Zenmaines and Met-Quipped. You know, anything can't be destroyed or has a problem when it is destroyed or something like that. It gets around it, and he's really cool because you can bring him back out with Red MD, and I don't know, I like him a lot. I don't go into him too often, but you can go into him with Malicious and with Trag, so you definitely have options and ways to get into him. And then 2 Beals, because Beals is retarded. There actually is a combo where you can go into both of these into one turn. Let's see. So you have Malicious Engrave, and you have a Plague in your hand. I need to grab more Malicious. Right. So, you use Malicious's effect to banish himself, to special summon another one. Then you normal summon Plague, and you go into 1 Beals. And then now you use Malicious again, and then Plague Spreader's effect, you stack something from your hand back to the top of the deck and special summon him. And what's really cool about this is you can actually do it the other way. So let's say these are both in your graveyard. And let's say Malicious, you have 1 Malicious in your hand, which sucks. But with this combo, you can still get it off because you activate Plague's effect first, and you stack Malicious back to the top of your deck, and then you activate Malicious's effect to special summon them from the deck. And then you go into the other Beals. So that's really easy to do. I can do that all the time in this deck. And like I said, Malicious and Plague just have amazing synergy together, and he really helps them be more consistent. And then for my last synchro, 1 Leo, because now with Raiden, I can get into him really easily, and he's Leo, he's awesome. And then with my Exceeds, I have 5 Exceeds, 1 being Met-Quipped Engineer. Like I said, he's phenomenal. He helps, definitely protects from 1-on-1. He helps, you know, obviously in other situations like Deep Prison and Mirror Force and stuff like that. And even, you know, Torrential, he can, you know, sacrifice himself to save, you know, your dad or whatever else you may have that really needs to be protected. So I love Met-Quipped Engineer. I got 1 Leviair, and I don't go into him too often, but it's really cool because you can use his effect on your opponent's banished monsters as well. So you can just do some cool things with it, and like you got a fairly diverse board and things you can go into, so you can still pretty much any tuner and make it work with something. So Leviair is really cool, and plus you have tons of banished stuff all the time, so you're gonna have something in your graveyard you want to bring back. 1 Ghost Trick Alucard, because Alucard is a card. No, but he's really cool. That's about all there is to it. I don't go into him too often, but when I need to get rid of back row, I definitely need to go into him. But that's it with the rank 3s, and I only run rank 3s and rank 6s in this deck. And my rank 6s are Gauntlet Launcher, because, and he's kind of like the secondary. I guess I should, first and foremost is M7, because M7 is amazing. He sets up just so many plays. You can get him out so easily, and then recycle the stuff you milled that you didn't want to mill, or just mess up your opponent by sending their monsters to their hand. And M7's amazing. He's a light, so he's fodder. He can be honested, and he's just amazing. That's all there is to it. And then Gauntlet Launcher's the guy you go into after you win into M7 and you want to make another rank 6 play. No, but he's cool too. He can, you detach and destroy a monster, so he has his own purpose. But I may actually switch him out for another M7 at some point. Maybe. I don't know. But that's my deck. Like I said, I may be doing some changes to it, but this is kind of my take on Chaos Dragons. And I feel the deck's definitely, it's changed and it's evolved since what it was before. And I didn't play it before, but I have an idea of what it used to be like. And there's just so many new cards that really have changed the game. And if you have any, obviously, if you were paying attention, there's a lot of cards that I need to upgrade in rarity, like Trag and I guess the Lances and all kinds of crap, really. If you have any of this stuff, just holler at me. I'm not dying looking for it, but if I could find it, it'd be cool. I like to have cards in their max rarity. This is really bad, actually. I have a lot of stuff I need to upgrade. But nevertheless, this is a really fun deck. I hope you enjoy the profile, and I want to see more than just Lightsworns being made. I think Chaos Dragons is a really fun deck, and so if you like it, please let me know in the comment section below. If you don't and you're just gonna stick with Lightsworns or Twilight or Dragonsworn or whatever you're playing, just let me know. But anyway, this has been Rarity Ho. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and peace out.